So here we are going to look at how to find the circumference of a circle. So we already assume that we know some facts about circles. Okay, so we're already under the assumption that we're familiar with these terms. So just as reminders, when we've got a circle, if we've got a line that's drawn from the center of the circle straight out to the edge, that is a radius. If we've got a line from one side of the circle to the other that goes through the middle, that's the diameter. And the edge of the circle, when it goes right the way around, the curvy line, if you like, is called the circumference. Okay, so when we start to investigate it, we find that these numbers are linked. So for a start, the diameter is the same as 2 lots of the radius. But we also find that the diameter and the circumference are linked. And in fact, if you take the circumference and divide it by the diameter, you should get something that's approximately 3. Okay, and in fact, it turns out that it's exactly pi. Okay, so when you do circumference divided by diameter, pi is the answer that you get. So what we can do is we can use this fact and we can rearrange it a little bit to get circumference is equal to pi multiplied by the diameter, which we simplify down to be c equals pi d. So how do we use that going forward? Well, let's consider this circle here. We want to know the circumference of that. Okay, now we can normally find the diameter relatively easily because we can just use our ruler and measure it, but because our ruler isn't curvy, we can't very easily measure the circumference. So we need to use the formula here to help us find the answer. So first step is to write down the formula. So we've got c equals pi d. Substitute in the number that I know, so circumference is equal to pi times 10. And then crunch our numbers, find out what pi times 10 is, and we get a circumference of 31.4. Remember to include our units, and so it's just centimetres here. Right, remember that whilst it's a curvy line, okay, it's still just a length. So 31.4 centimetres. Okay, next one. Okay, the line's going in a slightly different direction, but it still goes from one side of the circle to the other through the middle. We want to find the circumference, so we're still using c equals pi d as my formula. Next step, substitute in my number, so c equals pi multiplied by 25. And when you crunch the numbers there, find out what that is, your circumference should be equal to 78.5 millimeters this time. Okay, so our units has changed, it's not centimeters anymore, it's millimeters. So we need to watch out for our ending bit. Okay, but that is how we find the circumference of a circle.